All right, everyone, welcome to our first round of playoffs for myself and Don Rat, the division champs. Uh, James, I thought about a wonderful solution. If you don't want to feel stressed about fantasy football in week 14, just get the bye, man. Like, that's all you got to do. Just win the bye.
Uh, so yeah, thanks for that advice.
I mean, is that solid advice, Don Rat? Do you have any other advice for our friend that has to get flushed to the next round of the toilet bowl?
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't want to worry about this last week, you could have just benched all your players and guaranteed a flush. So that'd be a relaxing week. But
That's true.
And here's the worst thing, man. I thought you were going to get Christian McCaffrey for this week, so you'd be good. But you don't have Christian McCaffrey back this week. He's doubtful to play. Um, what do you? Okay, legitimate question though. What do you do if you get flushed again this week and you go to the next round?
I mean, I guess I hope that I play Eric because that's really my best bet. But I mean, even Eric has been proven to have a decent team. Uh, where my team was strong until all the injuries happened. So I pretty much I thought about this. I was driving home from Gatlinburg today, and I thought, what if I go to the toilet bowl with Eric, and Eric beats me, like a two in like what 8 record or whatever it was,
2-10.
Yes, that 2-10, yeah.
versus what I have an 8-5 record or whatever. It's like, and after all, I feel bad for talking so much trash to Zach. It's like it came back and bit me. Like fantasy football, it's just a pain, man. You just never know. So,
Man, if you would have just had the Steelers defense, you would have been good.
Yeah,
John, oh man, yeah,
should have blown 33 fab dollars on it.
yeah,
Or just drafted them, you know.
Or just not drop them. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
So Zach beat Milkos. No real surprise there. I think we all kind of saw that coming. Milkos lost Miles Gaskin at the last second due to COVID. It's kind of hard to find a replacement running back. So, and then Zach's team played well. Mike Davis played well. And then the big surprise, though, Coach Cass with the Monday Night Miracle, Kareem Hunt. First of all, an amazing game. That was a great game to watch. Second of all, Coach Cass with the last second ditch touchdown effort from Kareem Hunt. Oh my word. Breaking Chad's heart. I don't know about you, Don Rat, but you said you were more nervous, I think, to play Chad. I'm definitely more nervous for you to play Coach Cass just because Patrick Mahomes is a scary guy to go up against. But are you happy? How do you feel about your matchup coming up this week with Coach Cass?
I think I'm still happy that he pulled it out last night, even though Chadlin had the fewest points for in the whole league. I think I'd still prefer to play Coach Cass because his matchups are so bad. At least that's what it appears to be. And if Hunter Henry can't go this Thursday, he doesn't have a tight end. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of his players haven't been performing well. Ronald Jones is hurt. He has Leonard Fournette, but like, is Leonard Fournette even going to play? Even going to suit up? So
I don't know, man. I feel like Bruce Arians has been finding any reason to start Fournette. So, yeah, it'll be a good matchup. That's all I'm saying. I think this is cool, man. This is going to be a fun matchup to watch. Patrick Mahomes and Leonard Fournette taking on Aaron Jones and Dalvin Cook. So, should be really fun to watch. We'll get into that matchup in a second, but I want to start with the toilet bowl. So let's go ahead and look at Eric versus Alex. So we're going to start with Alex. Alex is been rolling with Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill has been doing an adequate job of passing the ball. We saw 291 passing yards and 2 touchdowns through the interception and got a fumble. But has a relatively easy matchup. Maybe not easy, but a favorable matchup playing Kansas City this weekend. The real question for Alex's team, though, against Eric, I think, is J.K. Dobbins. Are you rolling with J.K. Dobbins this week? He looks like he has that starting position. He looks like he has the goal line work, and he looks like he's finally become the running back that we all hope he be. Obviously found the end zone last night. Are you plugging and playing J.K. Dobbins this week? What was your opinion, Mast?
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting for J.K. Dobbins to break out for a long time. I tried to trade for him earlier this year, and I think that he's a lot better than any of the other backs. Mark Ingram is like a complete waste of space on that team, it looks like, apparently. Yeah. So I would definitely roll with J.K. Dobbins, and they play Jacksonville. So,
yeah. Well, the other thought that I think we have to consider, though, is Michael Thomas. So Michael Thomas again this week playing Kansas City. I think in the first round you thought you were getting a steal, getting Michael Thomas, especially in half point PPR. But obviously he's had issues with the team. He's had issues with health. James, are you rolling out J.K. Dobbins and Michael Thomas and Taysom Hill this week, or are you going to suggest that he diversifies his matchups? Maybe take a shot on Giovanni Bernard. Maybe David Johnson comes back off of COVID. What do you think?
I definitely don't think take a shot on Giovanni Bernard. I think he took his shot last week, and I mean, you saw he did nothing against the Dallas defense, which you would think he would have gotten at least a handful of points. He got 0.8 points, 0.80, which is pretty sad and pathetic. And then just kind of looking back at his overall season, he had one game where two games, but one game where he broke 20 points. In the previous game, he did 18, but otherwise he's been very lackluster. I wouldn't want to put him in at all. I would definitely put in J.K. Dobbins over him. And maybe I would probably go ahead and leave Michael Thomas in the flex position. I don't know that there's anyone else there that I see that could bring him potentially big points. So I would probably do that.
All right, Jeff Wilson or DeAndre Washington this week. What's your advice, Mast?
Boy, let me look at it for a second.
Jeff Wilson goes up against the Cowboys as basically one of the last remaining healthy players. He spent his time in injury. The one start that Jeff Wilson got, he got 3 touchdowns and I think over 30 fantasy points, if I remember that correctly. And then on his bench, obviously, he has DeAndre Washington, who could step in as the Miami pass-catching running back with a tough matchup, relatively tough matchup. But yeah, well, what are your thoughts? I personally, if I'm Alex, I say roll with the team that got you here, and so yeah, start your studs. But I could see a world where maybe you feel more comfortable plugging in DeAndre Washington. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Mast?
I like Jeff Wilson a lot more than Washington. Is this assuming that he'll bench both Johnson and Bernard?
Yeah, I wouldn't start Johnson this weekend. They go up against Indianapolis, correct? Yeah. Houston versus Indy. David Johnson against Indianapolis doesn't seem like a great matchup to me. They have a stout defense, especially against the run. And I know that he's a pass catcher, but he doesn't seem to have been utilized in that role so far. I think he has an average of maybe 3 receptions per game. So nothing that is going to get you crazy excited. Plus, coming off of COVID, a lot of players have mentioned that they don't feel right coming off of COVID. So if I had David Johnson, I personally wouldn't start him. But
okay, yeah, I was kind of confused because it says D Johnson, who he started, and he also has D Johnson in his IR. So
yeah, he picked up David Johnson, which I thought was a silly thing to do.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd agree with you. J.K. Dobbins and Jeff Wilson is the way I'd go. I do not trust Dallas's defense at all against the run, so I think they'll get ate up. And so So yeah, you gotta go with the matchups, and I think J.K. Dobbins and Jeff Wilson's shown some things as opposed to DeAndre Washington being kicked around the league. So
All right. So final question: Taysom Hill or Phillip Rivers?
Taysom Hill, definitely Taysom Hill. Yeah, he even got 17 points last week, and he looked bad. So
All right. What do you think, James? Taysom Hill or Phillip Rivers?
Oh, yeah. Oh man. Well, oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I kind of. I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I think I'll just for the sake of going against Mass, I'll go with Phillip Rivers.
All right. I would also start Phillip Rivers. I think he'll have a better game than Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
If we don't find a more interesting thing, maybe we come back to this one for a milk bet this week. I know you guys are wanting revenge against me, but yeah, I definitely feel good about Phillip Rivers this week over Taysom Hill. I don't feel good about Eric's quarterback situation. I don't like Kirk Cousins. I never have. I don't like the way that he plays particularly, but especially the way that he plays in Minnesota. And going against Chicago, they're tough defense. They're not a bad defense. They're a bad offense, which makes them seem like they're a bad defense. But yeah, I don't like Kirk Cousins this week against Chicago. So I think if I'm either Alex or Eric, I would take a shot on Phillip Rivers. I think Phillip Rivers will score more points than Kirk Cousins or Taysom Hill. And that's just my opinion. But yeah, I would definitely go with him over their starters. James, what do you think for Eric? Should he roll with Kirk Cousins? I know at one point you were a Kirk Cousins fan. Do you like the efficiency, or do you prefer the upside that maybe Phil Rivers can give you with a couple passing touchdowns against a terrible Houston defense?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There was a time where I liked Kirk Cousins, but I think that time dropped pretty quickly. I would probably go ahead and go with Phillip Rivers against, like you said, a not great Houston defense. I think that he's going to have more upside and score more points as well.
So Eric, my last bit of advice for you though, I definitely would go pick up Colt Kmet, go pick up Noah Fant, maybe Jared Cook even. Zach Ertz is not going to do anything for your team. Mike Gesicki being injured, I don't think he's back this week either. So I think you should trade out your tight end for one of those top 3 tight ends that are available. Obviously, Zach Ertz is still a name. I think that's all it is. I think he's just a name. I think he's a landmine for your team. I see you agreeing, Mast. So who's your best waiver wire pickup for Eric? Do you like Noah Fant against Buffalo, Cole Kmet against Minnesota, or Jared Cook against Kansas City?
what did Noah Fant? What was his issue?
He was sick. So he got a non-COVID illness last week. So that's why he didn't play.
Weird. Okay. Well, if Noah Fant's healthy, it says that he got no practice reps. But if he's healthy, I go with him. He's somebody that I've had on my team multiple times this year. He's on the field a lot, and he gets more targets than when he's on the field than any of those receivers. So it's a home game. Despite him like not producing much, I feel like his floor and ceiling are higher than those other players.
Yeah, I had Noah Fant at the start of the season too. I like him as a player. So personally, I say roll with him. Either way, I think any of those 3 options are going to do you better than Zach Ertz. So
Yes.
and I think we all agree on that. So, all right. So final, you have to pick a winner who gets flushed to the next. All right, let's pick a loser because the loser gets flushed. I'm going to say Alex gets flushed in this game. I think Eric has the better team. So Alex, you're going to be in the toilet bowl against, we'll see in a minute who we think. But yeah, Alex, sorry, bud. You get flushed to the next round. James, what do you think?
I actually think it's going to be Eric, just because Eric has played really, really awful this year. And he might have better matches, but I just don't see them, really, really pulling one off for him. So I think Eric's going to get flushed.
Mast?
I agree. Eric's going to get flushed. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have 30 points against the now. Well, let's see. They lost their starting safety. The Eagles did, and Darius Slay has been hurt also, and he hasn't been doing anything even when he's on the field. So, as an Eagles fan, I think he's going to dominate us. He just has, like, I still think he has the best receiver core. Alex does in the league, and I just can't pick against him. I think Taysom Hill's going to run a lot more than he did last week because I think it was really dumb how they didn't run against Philly's defense. With the quarterback, he didn't scramble much, 4 yards. He only had 5 carries. So I think he's going to do that a lot more.
All right, guys. Well, I'm willing to put down a milk bet here on Alex versus Eric. And instead of running, why don't we change it up to burpees, 30 burpees, 2 cups of milk and 30 burpees. What do you guys say? And since I'm betting both of you, if I lose, I'll do 60 burpees.
Oh,
We only do 1 cup of milk and 30 each.
No. So 2 cups of milk, but 30 burpees if you lose.
Oh, I'm on for that, James.
wait. So if we win, you drink.
I will do 2 cups of milk. No.
Okay.
That's called the gallon challenge. I don't think that's
Okay.
Yeah.
So
If y'all win, I'll do 2 cups of milk and 60 burpees. And if
if
I
we-
win, 2 cups of milk and 30 burpees from each of you.
okay. What was the bet?
You agree to the terms, Mast?
Yeah, I do.
All right, Eric, get him, buddy. I'm rooting for you.
All right. Yeah, I'll do it also.
All right, I can't
I-
wait to
love-
see you guys.
I could use the 30 burpee exercise, but I'd love to see you do 60.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. All right, moving on to the next set of toilet bowl rounds. We have our champ, Rhett, who I have to say had one of the greatest videos I think we've put out this year, has been put out this year. That, loved it. Thank you so much, Rhett and Ashley, for submitting that to the league. So we have Derek Carr or Matt Ryan as your quarterback options. Personally, I love Derek Carr this week against the Chargers. I think they're going to play really well. I think the matchup is favorable for you. There should be points scored on both sides of the game. Don't typically love Thursday night matchups, but I like Derek Carr this week. David Montgomery, I know did really well last week, but he has a tough matchup against Minnesota. So I don't see Derek Carr exploding, but I think, again, he'll get you the 10 points that you need. The real question to me in your running back core is Josh Jacobs. So Josh Jacobs should have a favorable matchup against the Chargers, and I like the dual stack in playing Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs. But Josh Jacobs, too, has also not been, I think, what everyone hoped he's been. He's been the hot or cold player, very much like Aaron Jones. So do you play Josh Jacobs this week, or do you roll with someone else? James, the other options outside of Josh Jacobs would be Devontae Booker, so his backup, Tony Pollard, who has been splitting time with Zeke against San Francisco. What do you think?
I don't think those are great options. I would, for if Josh Jacobs is healthy, then yeah, I would throw him in there over Devontae Booker for sure. And really, that's pretty much it. I mean, Tony Pollard, yeah. I mean, like you said, he's splitting time with Ezekiel Elliott against San Francisco's defense. San Francisco has a pretty good run defense apparently, so I don't think I'd want that matchup regardless. So yeah, I'd probably put in Josh Jacobs over Devontae Booker.
All right. Any other thoughts on this matchup, or sorry, not matchup, on Rhett's team, Mass?
No, I think it'll be tough for Adam Thielen to have a big game. Chicago's defense, you're right, is not bad at all. Like, they're still playing very well because they have a lot of talent. It's just stinks that their offense is so nasty, except for last week. David Montgomery, you said it's a tough matchup at Minnesota, but like it looks dark green on here, so I think that means it's not. I don't know how many carries he's going to get or whatever. I think he might have gotten. I think he came out of the game last week for a little bit, but then he came back in. I don't see it on here. Anyway, yeah, I think he's set up to do decently well. Rhett is.
Okay, yeah. My only other question on Rhett's side of the team: do you roll with Amari Cooper? So I think you have to leave Adam Thielen in just because he has the potential of getting 2 touchdowns. I agree with you. I don't think it's a good week for Adam Thielen. I think the real question is with Amari Cooper. So being in Rhett's position, I would probably roll with Sterling Shepard, and it's mainly just the matchup. I think Cleveland has a worse secondary. I think that he has the higher upside than Amari Cooper to get the touchdown. So if I'm Rhett, I roll out Sterling Shepard and I bench Amari Cooper this week, just because I think elsewhere he has, relatively safe. A safe floor, and so if I'm Red, I'm just trying to not lose this game. So that's my thoughts. Take out Amari Cooper, replace him with Sterling Shepard. James, what's your advice for your opponent this week?
I think you need to just bench your players, to be honest. I think it'll feel really sweet to go to the Toilet Bowl championship and beat Eric. So that would just be my advice if you want to have that awesome, feeling of success on week 16. It's like a championship in itself, and I don't want to deprive you of that. So go ahead and bench your guys.
All right, Sterling Shepard or Amari Cooper? Who are you rolling with, Mast?
Yeah, I agree. Sterling Shepard. Denzel Ward, I don't know if he's still going to be out, but I don't even know if it matters because Sterling Shepard plays in the slot so much. But yeah, just because of the matchup, they got the same amount of targets last week. And Sterling Shepard, Denzel Ward might not even be in, so I would go with him. I think it's funny, though, that Milan is starting or potentially starting 3 Raiders and no Chargers. I don't know what that's about.
His other option is to start 3 Falcons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah, he put all his eggs in just like 3 baskets this year. So, and I think Matt did too, and I think that's part of the reason. Luckily, he's not having to worry about the toilet bowl. But yeah, when you pick up, and that's one of the things that I have tried to do so hard this year is to not just load up on one team, just because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what game flow is going to be. I don't particularly love having 2 people on my starting lineup that are playing in the same game, just because you never know what's going to happen. So I like to diversify my team, but that's just a personal preference. So, all right, picking a winner, I'm going to look at James's team. And James, I'm just going to say, I think you have this one. You have Brandon Ayuk, man. Brandon Ayuk, I think if you had gotten to the playoffs, would have been a solid player. I like Robert Tunyon. My question on your side of the ball would be with Chase Claypool. I don't love Chase Claypool, and I know he started off hot, but I don't think he is. I think because Ben Roethlisberger hasn't been able to get the deep ball connection, I think you should switch out Chase Claypool. And I know you don't have great options on your bench, but I would play Christian Kirk over Chase Claypool personally. I just think you're not going to be able to make the connection that you need. I think Hunter Renfro is a great option too. KJ Hamler, obviously a risky upside player, but the upside's there. So I don't like Chase Claypool this week, and I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on that, Mast?
Yeah, I don't like Claypool either. And despite the Bengals being a terrible team, it doesn't look like they're awful against the giving up points to receivers. I like Carlos Hyde. He got 15 carries. I know it's against Washington, at Washington, and I know he only got 44% of the snaps, it says here, but 15 carries, like, they want to use him, so it's not like he's not going to be a factor at all. And the value of running backs is just so much more than receivers. But yeah, I'd throw Carlos Hyde in there personally.
Yeah, and on waiver, Lane Bowden is a good option, I think, too. So maybe just see what plays out this week. But yeah, I think you got a shot at it, man. So I know I made fun of you for potentially getting flushed, but I honestly think you have a better team than Rhett, and so I think you'll be all right. Setting a decent lineup this week, though. So yeah, obviously go with your gut, though. Our advice is just that advice, and I get a lot of flack for our advice, but I think it's good advice. So yeah, I say take out Claypool. Mass agrees, but go with your gut. If you lose, better to lose with your gut than to take the advice of people trying to predict the future, because no one can do that. So I'm taking James in this one, and I say Rhett gets flushed to the next round. And again, I think it's going to be against Alex. Mass, what are your thoughts?
If James gets a defense that isn't playing the Chiefs this week, I'll go with him. I know the Saints are the number one, not fantasy defense, but they were the number one defense overall. I don't know if they still are in the league, but yeah, they play the Chiefs. So
what defense do you recommend him picking up?
none of the ones I'm looking at. Hold on.
I like the Bills. I don't like Drew Lock, so I say pick up the Bills, play him against Drew Lock. I don't think Drew Lock is anything to be terrified at, or Washington against Seattle. I know. On paper, that looks like a horrible idea, but Washington has a great defense, and if anything, you should be able to at least get 6 points in sacks alone. So those are the two ones that I like on the waiver wire. I like the Bills and I like Washington. Mass, what do you think?
I actually like a lot of the ones on the waiver wire. The Patriots, I know they play the Dolphins. They've been doing so much better, but Bill Belichick against rookie quarterbacks is unreal. Justin Herbert 2 weeks ago got like 0.5 or something. He is ridiculous against rookie quarterbacks. And even no matter how well Tua's been doing, he's still a rookie. So there's going to be turnovers in that game. And then like Jalen Hurts is good. I think I have him on my team. I like him. But the Cardinals at home, they're the 15th ranked defense. And the Eagles just lost their right tackle for the year. So they're not Lane Johnson, but their backup rookie right tackle. So they're going to be going with their third string right tackle. But I also like the Bills. I like the Packers. There's quite a few. I'd probably go with the Patriots though at the end of the day.
31 points against Justin Herbert. So yeah, he's pretty good against rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
James, who do you got in this matchup?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and go with myself. I really don't want to go to the toilet bowl again. So of course I'm picking myself. I'm trying to put all the good, juju on my fantasy team. So hopefully it works out for me.
All right. So let's look at now the playoff contenders. So we have Don Rat versus Coach Cass. I'm going to start with Don Rat. So I don't think there's much to question on your side of the ball. You start Lamar Jackson against Jacksonville. It's something that Jacksonville has. It's no secret that Jacksonville hasn't been playing well this year. They are terrible at stopping the run. They're terrible at stopping the pass. Lamar Jackson is a great dual threat quarterback. And yeah, I know you have Jalen Hurts as well against Arizona. It seems like a good start, but yeah, roll with the MVP, man. Play Lamar Jackson against Jacksonville. Play Dalvin Cook against Chicago. Play Aaron Jones against Carolina. That's where I think some of your questions start coming in. I don't see Aaron Jones getting double-digit points this week. I think that against Carolina, he can get stopped. And so I don't see that game getting out of hand. I don't see it just being a blow-up game. I don't know what the current over-under is or what the Vegas projection lines are on it, but I don't think it's particularly high. So I don't see Aaron Jones getting double digits this week. So I think because of that, you have to start making some decisions on what you do with your wide receivers. Now, having the quarterback switch for Chicago, going back to Trubisky, I think sets you up well for Robinson. Keenan Allen, though, left the game last week, and it seems like people didn't talk about it because there was a good fantasy production day. But do you feel comfortable rolling out Keenan Allen this week against the Raiders on a Thursday night? Do you like to play Thursday night people, so in case it doesn't work out well for you, you can switch out some other players and play upside? Or what are your thoughts on Keenan Allen and your starting lineup this week?
Well, I don't like playing Thursday night people when they get hurt on Sunday, but I mean, I'm not going to bench him, obviously. And I'm worried about him being limited. He's just had such a great target share. He was such a great trade acquisition for me. I'm really happy to have him, obviously, but it is worrisome playing him if he puts up a dud or gets hurt I think it was a hamstring. A hamstring. If he gets hurt in the first quarter, I'm just gonna feel terrible for the next 72 hours until Sunday, or actually until Saturday. There's Saturday games. So yeah, if he doesn't put up a decent amount, I won't be happy. But yeah, I think Aaron Jones has potential to explode. I don't know why you think otherwise. It's at home. Carolina, I know they've been a little bit better against running backs recently, but they're still 26th in the league, and they were really bad earlier in the year. And then to be pessimistic, Dalvin Cook, he keeps getting like little nicks during the games, and I hold my breath every single time when I'm watching them. But it's Chicago's defense. Like, I think they're really good, and that worries me too. He has the worst playoff matchup, Dalvin Cook does, between this week and next at New Orleans. So those are the things that worry me about my team.
Yeah, I don't think they have to run up the score. I think they know that they can beat Carolina, and I think they continue to save Aaron Jones and play Jamal Williams. He's not a terrible replacement for Aaron Jones, and obviously it's something that has been going on. You've seen Aaron Jones splitting time with Jamal Williams. Now I know he's on your bench, but you're obviously not going to play both of them. I see you currently have Antonio Brown in your lineup. Are you going to leave that there? Do you think Antonio Brown gets it done against Atlanta this week?
I'm thinking about just leaving like I did last week, Antonio Brown and no one else. No, if Brandon Cooks is healthy, I'll play him. But in regards to Aaron Jones, he played, I know it was a long time ago, week 2, he played 47% of the snaps and scored 43 points on 18 carries against Detroit. So they'll use him in blowouts.
All right. Well, I say go Lazard over Keenan Allen or Antonio Brown, but that's only because I would love to see you use Lazard and watch Zach crumble, knowing that he was once on his team. So, James, what is your advice for our co-host here? Do you think what tinkering do you think he needs to do to ensure that he makes it to the finals?
I mean, so this whole time listening to you guys talk, I've just been looking back at the weeks of both Coach Cass and Don Rat. And really since like week 7, Coach Cass hasn't scored more than 112 points. It's been 82, 90, 88. 112 was like the max. And Don Rat is something like 140, 130, 120, 95 in there, but then on 130, 120. So really, I think he just needs to set his lineup, and he should be set. I think he's going against Coach Cass, who made the playoffs, but really that's where more luck was involved than. I mean, a lot of it's a lot of luck, but I think Don Rat managed his team better, and you can tell by just the past 7 weeks what the difference was. So, I think, I know you didn't ask me, but I think Don Rat is going to win this one and make it to championship. So,
I don't know, man. I think it's much more feasible that this is a closer margin of victory. Coach Cass has it in him to get 140 points. Like it's not something that's impossible for his team. He did it in week 6. I think he got 144 versus Carrie. He got 124 in week 5. And I think the Ronald Jones benching is going to help out his Leonard Fournette value. So I think it's much closer than what you anticipate. I see your logic, but I think Coach Cass has a good shot at this. Obviously, you have to leave Kareem Hunt against the Giants. Justin Jefferson has been really good. My question is, do you play Deontay Johnson? He's been dropping balls. Obviously, he's had questionable playmaker ability, especially by Coach Tomlin, and Coach Tomlin has been very transparent about that. Who are you going to plug in his place, though? You're not going to play Jerry Jeudy. The only other option is if you get DJ Moore back off of COVID against Green Bay. That could be helpful. But Green Bay is a funnel defense. So I think you're stuck with Justin Jefferson in your lineup. And I think you leave Deontay Johnson, especially against Cincinnati. The question, I think you would brought it up earlier, though, Mass, was with Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry is the number 7 tight end on the season. I don't think he has a bad matchup against the Vegas Raiders. And I like him better than some of the other options that are currently available. I say take out Tyler Boyd. I would not play Tyler Boyd against Pittsburgh. Again, I don't like Drew Lock. And personally, I would roll with Sony Michel over Miami. I think Sony Michel will have a surprising game, and I think he gives you more upside than Tyler Boyd. What do you think about that, James?
I agree.
By the way, sorry, real quick, tight end recommendation: Irv Smith Jr. That I think he'll be one of the top 10 tight ends this week, and I know that's not saying much, so I'll even make it top 8. I think he'll be a top 8 tight end this week. Irv Smith Jr. That's a gut call, but I think it's his time to shine. Mast, give me some advice because James says nothing.
Some advice for my enemy this week. Well, nothing that you should trust, but I would go with Leonard Fournette if Jones is not healthy, obviously. But they're saying that he might just play anyway with a messed up finger. And then Jerry Jeudy. I wouldn't go with Jerry Jeudy this week. Deontay Johnson, I like a lot. I wish I had him, despite his struggles recently. He definitely has explosion capability. I don't think you sit him. But Hunter Henry would worry me. DJ Moore, I think if he plays, you play him. Especially with, they're playing the Packers. That's tough, but they're going to be down all game likely. I think if DJ Moore plays, you play him, and it's not like it's COVID. It's not like it's an ankle injury or something. What worries me is his matchups on defense. Also, he's got New England against the Dolphins and Miami. That could be ugly, and the Titans against the Lions, who might not have a quarterback. Start Chase Daniels. That could worry me a lot. So, I mean, as long as you didn't ask me either, but as long as his defense doesn't get like 25, I'll feel confident, more confident if none of my guys get injured.
All right, I agree. I think Don Rat is your game to lose. I think the whole league knows it. So hopefully you realize your team's potential and you make it to the finals. So the last matchup, and we don't even have to cover this one, but
you're scared. You're scared.
I'm very scared. So I don't like to play Zach. I don't feel great about my chances. I like my team. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and fib and pretend like I don't have a good team. I feel like I've put together a solid team. Justin Herbert scares me. Um, Josh Allen scares me. And more importantly, Darren Waller scares me. So if I didn't have Kelsey, I would want Waller. So yeah, he plays Thursday night, and Kelsey has to go up against the Saints defense. I don't love that, and they're really good at stopping the secondary. And I get that he's a tight end, and they give up more points to the tight end than other positions, but still, he's a receiver. My only stroke of luck would be that because he is leading the league in reception or not receptions in yards this season, that Patrick Mahomes tries to make him the tight end who is the first tight end to lead the league in reception yards. So maybe he'll just get fed the ball continuously. And that puts me up in a good position. I think this game is going to come down to the tight ends, though. Which tight ends produce the most points? Luckily, I was able to pick up the Rams defense, and I thought about playing the Browns defense this week, but I think just the way the Rams have been playing and the way they've been slowing down the ball, including with Cam Akers, that this is going to be a good matchup for me. I think that I roll with the Rams defense against the Jets. It's not something that scares me away. And really, I think I'm in kind of a similar position to you. I'm nervous about my opponent. Obviously, Zach has done a lot to get his team to this point. I wish Christian McCaffrey was back because Mike Davis against Green Bay makes me nervous too. They're a funnel defense, so they want you to run the ball against them. And Mike Davis and Cam Akers obviously have 30 points in each one of them. A.J. Brown against Detroit is a great matchup. So, yeah, I don't feel great about this, man. So I don't know. I don't even know. I don't have any advice to give him because I'm like, he has a great team. I'm really nervous about Terry McLaurin and what's going to happen with him with Dwayne Haskins potentially at quarterback. Even with Alex Smith at quarterback, it hasn't been great for Terry McLaurin. I don't know how to feel about Robert Woods this week. And yeah, I'm scared, man. I'm scared. And I felt much more confident about my team a few weeks ago, but man, I would have loved to play Milkos. I hate that I have to play Zach. So if I'm going to be completely honest, though, this is not reverse jinxing. I promise. I have to give this one to Zach. And I think it would be a great Cinderella story for Zach to go up into the finals. So I'm giving this one to Zach. James?
Well, first of all, I kind of feel like if anyone does not have to worry about this week in this matchup, it is going to be Zach because I think he's going to beat you. I did have my doubts about his team, obviously, but like you said, he has climbed back. He's doing a Cinderella story comeback. It's pretty impressive. I mean, you have great matchups, but I feel like you've had such a good lucky streak for so long. It's gonna end right here, and it's gonna end against Zach. And it's just because I don't know. I just have a feeling, kind of like you. I'd be nervous, and I think it's gonna be close. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. But I give it to Zach just barely.
All right, Mast.
Man, it's hard to predict this game, honestly. And normally it'd just be like, well, your team's like the best team in the league. Commissioner's team is the best, but Zach has a good team. Advice I'd give to him would be start Josh Allen. Justin Herbert is a clown. Yeah, start Josh Allen. Even though the Raiders are not great against quarterbacks, Josh Allen goes to Denver. They lost AJ Boye. They have a good defense, but he was their best corner. And also, I'm not positive about this, but Josh Allen went to University of Wyoming, Most people in Wyoming are Broncos fans. Maybe it's like a coming home sort of deal. That's just a shot in the dark. But yeah, Cam Akers getting just tons of carries against the Jets. I could see that. And AJ Brown is going to score against Detroit. Like, I don't even think it's like the odds on that are probably like minus 200 that he's going to score a touchdown against Detroit. He has a touchdown like in the last 10 weeks, he has not scored a touchdown twice. So yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say at one point I wanted to trade for AJ Brown really badly. I think when he was down a little bit further, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it, partially because I didn't think Zach would let him go. And yeah, I think it's honestly just going to come down to which one of us has the luck in setting the best lineup. So I think this will be Goliath versus Goliath. I think we both are going to put up big numbers, and yeah, it's just going to see who makes the smart decisions, who gets lucky with setting the right defenses. We both have multiple defenses to pick from. We both have multiple quarterbacks to pick from, and we have similar explosion players on both sides of the ball. I know he has Young Hui Koo, and he's been a solid kicker. I've been holding on to Will Lutz, though, because I think that he is clutch. And for whatever reason, Taysom Hill has killed his value as a kicker. Like, I don't even understand that. So, yeah, it's going to be close, and I'm excited to see it. And unfortunately, Zach is his birthday this week on the 18th. So congratulations, buddy. You get a birthday victory. We all think it's going to happen. So don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't overthink it. Don't mess with your lineup too much. Play your studs. See what you got. I'm going to do the same. I look forward to just seeing what happens. I don't want to play Don Rat. I'd rather lose to Zach than to Don Rat. So.
Why?
Because the thought that I would have to lose to Aaron Jones or Dalvin Cook.
At least I traded away Adam Thielen.
I know. I hate Adam Thielen too. So, all right, gentlemen. Well, thank you so much for your time. Give me that week 15 playoff pose, and mine's going to be utter torture already. All right, thank you guys. Hey James, by the way, you're terrible at fantasy football, so I hope you lose.
Yeah, whatever.
Even if I lose, I don't have to worry about getting that dumb license plate. So
yeah, whatever. Shut up.
Yeah, I don't. Man, I honestly, I'm gonna stop the video. Bye, guys.